What's up, guys? This is Corey Baker from Baker Forge and Tool. In my business, we do tons of heavy grinding every single day, and we needed a grinder that could take abuse and keep on trucking without slowing down billet production. The Ameribraid variable speed 2x72 is just that. All heavy-duty parts and framing with well-thought-out accessories that are easy to use and not bogged down with lots of tiny parts. By far, the best accessory item that Ameribraid sells is their surface grinding attachment. It is absolutely foolproof and the best in the industry. With quick-release magnet system, there is no prying your workpiece off the platen. Very fast to slap a billet or a knife onto the table, engage magnets, and start surfacing with precise increments. On top of all of this, their customer support is outstanding. Eric and Kevin are always available and fast to help with any situation. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line grinder, or maybe just an accessory to add to your existing setup, go to ameribraid.com and use the code HUSTLE100 for $100 off any grinder package. All right, next up, the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hustle and Grind podcast. It's me. I'm Noah from Indiana River Forge. I'm back. With me, as always, Ryan Coakley from Ryan Chadbourne Knife Works. And with us together today is our short, fat friend, Brigham Kindell. How are you, buddy?
Short, fat, and happy. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Short, fat, and happy. I'm doing okay. I'm doing a lot better. I'm just going to go ahead and right off the top here, I just want to say a special thank you to everyone who reached out to me this week. Last week, I wasn't on the show, and that was because I was not feeling great. So I had hell of a Friday at my day job where I did about a week's worth of work in one day, and it just so happened to be a day that was over 100 degrees. So I was pretty exhausted by the end of it, and then later in the day, I just got this pounding headache, and y'all don't need to know the details, but I was pretty sick just from heat exhaustion. I Googled the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. I think last week Ryan said that I had heat stroke. I'm pretty sure I had heat exhaustion because I didn't actually have to go to the hospital or anything. I didn't pass out, but I definitely had a pretty severe fever and, vomiting. I wasn't able to drink water even to try and keep myself hydrated. So it was pretty rough, 16 hours or so, but I'm back at it. I'm still working because you know what? Can't stop, won't stop. So
tell you what you did wrong.
What'd I do wrong?
Not enough liquid IV.
See, here's the thing. I try and only drink one of those a day. I drank, I swear, Friday, the day that all this happened, I was drinking liquid IV. I was drinking so much water. It gets to a point when you're working too hard and too hot where there's no amount of hydration that's going to fix it. Like it got to the point where I just could not drink enough water. I could not keep enough fluids in my system. And it's just the way it was. I will say liquid IV was what helped me the next morning. So I woke up at 5 a.m. I had a fever all night. I was sweating. I was tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep. And then I had to just slowly sip some liquid IV after I finally got a few hours of sleep between like 7 a.m. and between 7 and 9 a.m. I think I actually finally slept. And then when I got up, I was just one sip at a time, just getting some liquid IV in me, getting some electrolytes back into my system because it was completely out. I was white as a ghost. And well, I mean, that's not that big of a difference, but less color in my face than even normally. But yeah, anyways, enough about that. What, Brigham, you got some exciting equipment in your shop, and I kind of just wanted to ask you about that. What did you get? How did you get it? Let's hear about it.
Okay, before you answer that, Brigham, use promo code HUSTLE10 at liquidiv.com for 20% off your entire order.
That's a great point. Okay, so we mentioned it.
While we're throwing that on, I got a story about liquid IV. It's a friend of mine who lives right next door. He is a big hunter, and he was sheep hunting down in the desert in Utah. Shot a sheep. They had to rappel down this canyon to get it and then hike out. Well, about halfway in the day, they ran out of water, and they thought there was a creek running down the bottom of this canyon. I mean, there was at one point, but it dried up where they were, so he couldn't get more water. And he said the only thing that saved him was liquid IV. He ended up like just putting the powder in his mouth, and the
Really?
electrolytes in it like helped him out. And he says he's here today because of that, of liquid IV, which is kind of crazy. So must be a good
That is
product.
crazy.
That's
You
an
should let
awesome
them
story.
know to use our promo code Hustle10 at checkout for 20% off.
I will. Hustle 10. We're about to put it in order, just so you know. Okay, so I just got a 24-ton press, and it's an Uncle Henry's. It's a little older. Basically, I have this good friend named John Bear. He is an auctioneer, but not an auctioneer like for equipment. He does big hunting auctions, like the Utah Hunting Expo. He just sold the governor, or the Arizona strip tag went for record amounts. It was like $600,000 or some crazy,
Jeez.
or maybe it was $1,000,000. I can't remember what it was, but he does like those auctions. He's a really cool guy. He's also a professional coyote hunter. And he just got married, and his wife is on, I cannot remember what TV show she's, Skullbound, I think is what it's called. It's like a hunting show. Her name's Jana Waller. But anyways, John just bought a house with her and doesn't have a shop. And he said, "Hey, I need to sell my press. Do you know anybody that's going to buy it?" So I just drove over and was like, "Well, how much?" And he gave me the price, and it was kind of too good to be true. So I bought it from him. It was actually the day before I left to drive to Blade Show is when I purchased it. But we've had scheduling conflicts, like as far as transportation to get it over here, because that thing's like, I don't know how heavy it is, but it was a beast. I mean, it's over 500 pounds. It's super
Oh,
heavy.
easily. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just saw
and
a couple pictures of it, and I can tell it's easily over 500 pounds.
yeah, and so we finally got it in yesterday. And I actually, before you guys just messaged me, I was squishing my first piece of Damascus, which I had to ask Noah. Like, I had some questions. I'm like, what do you think I should make? And you steered me the right way, I think. And so I'm doing a 32 layer. Well, right now it's 32 layers. I'm probably going to try to triple it at least. I still haven't gotten into any super high layer, mainly because I just fancy low layer. Like, I'm not into this million layer stuff where you can't tell the detail. I want thick, bold lines. That's just kind of how I roll. I like them
I like
thick
them thick and bold.
and
That's the
curvy.
way I like them, dude.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But so yeah, I'm super stoked about it. Also, it's my first billet out of the Apollo Forge. So I'm kind of
Oh,
excited about
badass,
that
dude.
too. I mean, I've been heating up stuff and pounding steel, but I've been waiting to get the press because, I mean, it's been what, 2 months since Blade Show, I think May, June.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it
June.
was, but yeah, just good
Well, awesome,
stuff.
dude. I'm super happy for you. That is going to be fantastic. Once you finally have the ability to squish stuff, it just changes everything. So, and it's an actual forging press that's set up for forging, right? It's an electrohydraulic.
And it takes a little bit more bite than I thought. So I haven't ruined anything yet, but I was like, whoa, because I've been working on a pneumatic, like an air over a hydraulic bottle jack Harbor Freight press, which has worked, but it only squishes so much. Where this is just like I can squish a lot with it, which is kind of fun. But
That's what I tell myself with my, because I have the Coal Iron Works 12-ton, and it's enough pressure to where you can squish steel together and you can move steel pretty fast, but it's just enough to where it keeps me out of trouble, where I'm not going to ruin stuff too easily. Whereas your 24-ton, I'll bet that can go straight through something in a hurry if you're not careful.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've already kind of like that first little press on it. Well, I pressed with flat dies to get my initial weld. I did that a few times. And then I went to my like a rounding die, and it's probably a 4-inch bar that's split in half and put on top of each other. And I was thinking, oh, this won't be as aggressive, and I'm like, oh crap. So right in the middle of it, but all the welds held so far, so I think I'm going to be good. We'll see. I'm excited about it though.
See, when you do stuff like that, that's when you get to when even a random pattern starts to look cool, is because you're causing all that distortion by moving all that metal quickly. If you're trying to create a specific pattern, it's not so good. You need to kind of move it slowly and pay attention to the way that your layer is reacting. But if you're just doing something that's kind of random, you just kind of want to make it look cool, doing stuff like that is how you're going to get that big movement in those layers to create something interesting in the end pattern.
Well, and that's where I might go with it. It's just random because, we were messaging earlier. I can't ever choose what pattern I want to do. Maybe it's because I'm just indecisive in every aspect of my life. But like, I just, do I do a twist? Do I do, try to do a ladder pattern? Well, I know ladders don't work well with a low layer, but that's why I might go a little higher, or, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just do W's. I've
just
never
have fun.
done W's before. Yeah. But
speaking of all this Damascus and Sandmine talk, it's been I've been using Sandmine and Damascus more and more and more. And it's been like a obsession curve for me because I obsess over straight lines. You know what I mean? In mono steel, like I like straight, crisp lines. And that's not really feasible, like aesthetically, on a Sandmine or a Damascus, because the whole point of it is like random. And with Sandmine, the layers are squished into each other. You know what I mean? So you get like that knife that we're collabing on. It looks like mountains. And
shark teeth.
Yeah, it like fucks up my brain.
That's what I'm here for.
Optical illusion for you.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I need straight lines, and those are not straight. Those are the opposite of straight.
They're gay lines.
Brigham.
I'm sorry. I'm just teasing. Just teasing.
I was going to say, I could have just forged it straight together without putting any pattern into it, but I like the little, I like to keep it crazy and interesting.
I'm glad you did. This knife could be my Holland's Opus. You know what I mean? It could be the nicest knife I've ever made.
I am proud to be a part of that, if that's the case.
I think so anyways. But like also on that, Pickle told me that I have to hand sand it. And I was planning on hand sanding it until he told me that. And then I was like, Ryan, my fucking nerve.
You really don't have to hand sand it. In fact, I would encourage you not to hand sand it.
Why? That's not a knock on Pickle. That's my fucking divergent brain being like, somebody told me to do something, so now I don't want to do it anymore type deal.
That's why I'm telling you to do it, to not do it.
Oh, because your brain works the same way?
I think all of us, to a certain extent, might have that a little bit, but some of us definitely more than others, right? But yeah, don't hand sand it.
I've got that blade.
Ryan. Don't do it.
It's in the etch right now. I also learned that. Okay, hold on. I also learned that gator piss makes a unique pattern on stainless Sandmine that looks like galvanizing. And I'm not sure if I should keep it or not, because when I think galvanized, I think poison.
Yeah, I think you definitely sand it off.
Sand it off.
My personal opinion. So this is something that I learned. Yep. I learned this a while ago, is because when I was experimenting with different types of etchants, whether it's having like vinegar in with ferric or like a straight straight like a ferric and distilled water mix and stuff like that. If you get too strong of a mix, it starts to almost give like a crystalline structure to the stainless on the cladding, because I've done a lot of stainless Sandmine in the past. And so I've experimented with different ways of etching it and stuff. And so Ryan and I were talking about this a little bit before the show. And Curtis, is it Hagland? Brigham, you know what I'm talking about. Freehill blades?
It's
I'm not sure if I'm saying Hayland. I apologize if I'm ruining somebody's last name here.
Yeah, hold on.
But anyways, so the way that he etches his Sandmine blades is really unique. I'm sorry?
Holland.
Okay. The way that he etches his blades, I saw he posted this a while ago, and I thought it was really unique, is he'll finish the blade, and he'll finish like the whole knife, the handle, everything as you would a monosteel blade. And then he goes back in with like a cotton ball dipped in ferric, and he'll do just the edge. And so then you're not getting any distortion on the stainless itself. You're just getting that etch on the edge where you want it. And I've just never had the balls to finish a knife and then worry about the etch afterwards, like I always get the blade 100% done aside from sharpening before I even think about putting a handle on. Like I put my maker's mark on, everything. Ooh, that's pretty.
That looks great.
Any of you guys listening
See what I mean?
Audio only,
I'm fucking
need to go over to
dripping water
YouTube.
on my laptop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Bzz,
Yeah, you'll want to go over to
cut
YouTube.
out.
See what I mean about what it does to the stainless?
Yeah, the edge looks dope, though.
I know. So that was, I started in gator piss, and the edge wasn't getting dark enough. It was etching the stainless faster, because that shit's super aggressive. So then I pulled it right out of the gator piss, didn't even clean it off, and I stuck it in the ferric. And it's been in the ferric for about an hour.
You must have a really light
You do a long time.
mix.
Yeah.
What's your strength mix in your ferric?
It's a 2-gallon bin, and it's about 50-50 straight ferric and white vinegar. But I've also etched probably 200 blades in that batch. Okay. So it's probably getting down
quite
there.
Old.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I was going to say, an
And
hour in a mixture like that, there shouldn't be any carbon left on it. It should have just etched it completely off. Jeez.
That's the same batch that
the ocean.
Exactly.
I etched an ABL knife for a week in it. And that was the one I left a piece of Timber Tiger Damascus in there overnight. And when I pulled it out, it looked like it fucking came out of the Titanic.
Damn.
Oh man, Davy Jones's knife. Yeah, I put my knives in the ferric for maybe a half hour most of the time, maybe. But
I don't even do that long.
Yeah,
I've done some where I'll leave them in like my solution that I use to get my blades really black. I have to rename it now. Those of you who listened to the episode with the Baker Forge boys know what I'm talking about. But I have a certain solution of ferric that I use to get my blades really black before I stonewash them. And I've had them before where I get too distracted working on something else where I've got those in there, and I go back and the blades, like the sides of the blades, are like textured. Like you can physically feel the texture in the blade from where it was starting to eat it away. So you got to be really careful with that, at least in my case. But apparently Ryan doesn't have that issue.
Well, but wasn't Tobias last week saying that actually aids in food release and some other things, which I thought was pretty interesting that I've never really thought about. But
after he said that,
kind of interesting.
After he said that, I thought about it, and it makes a lot of sense because you're making tiny little
divots,
divots, lower spots.
Yeah. So in essentially, like you don't have a smooth surface anymore, so that it's not actually able to create that vacuum seal that that potatoes especially will do. But
how do you guys get your oxides to stick? So
neutralize,
they stay nice and black.
Neutralize and wax.
Oh, that's it. There we go. I got her all wiped off. What do you think, Brigham? Should I take off that texturing on the sandmine?
Cool. I think it's kind of cool.
I think it needs to come off.
I don't know, man. I like it though. No matter what you do, it's going to come out cool. But yeah, maybe you take it off. I don't know.
I mean, all I got to do is hit it on the Scotch-Brite and then just re-etch it in the ferric.
Yeah, or just coffee or orange juice. Has anybody tried the orange juice since Tobias said that?
No, but it makes me want to run to the store after we get off the podcast and go get some.
Yeah. So the first Damascus I ever made, which I have in the kitchen still, just a little paring knife, I did it in lemon juice and orange juice.
Really?
Yeah.
Like only? Like that was your only etch, or was that after ferric?
That was my only etch. I didn't have ferric yet.
Gotcha. How did it turn out? Did it turn out good?
Let me go grab it. I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, everybody's getting up and walking away from the camera today.
It's show and tell.
It's show and tell. This is the YouTube episode for those of you who have never watched our podcast on YouTube. Today's the day.
There's some epoxy in the bottom of the handle, but that's the
Gotcha.
handle. Oh, yeah.
That's going to look dope when it's finished, man. I'm excited to see it.
I know. I feel like, is it straight?
Now that I'm looking at it, it's not that pretty at all. And this was just kind of a random, but like you can see that 15 and 20 in there.
Yeah,
right?
no, you can see the contrast for sure.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's lemon juice, and then a couple of years worth of wear.
Sure.
Opening random things, like you can see, it's too thick to be of any use, and the handle's not comfortable. And you can see that was my logo back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like that logo. Why'd you get rid of that?
Well, because it's Coyote Concrete, but then people said it looks like a mastodon. So it's like basically my Coyote Concrete is a C with a coyote head on the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I remember seeing that.
You look at that and it looks like a mastodon or something weird.
What's your new logo?
It's just BK. Just
you should do a little fat man stick figure.
A fat man stick figure. That's actually a good idea. Fat man. Yeah. I don't know.
You should do a BK. You should do a BK with a crown.
Burger King. Yep. Have it your way. No, everybody says that's what the BK already looks like too. So that was kind of.
I know. So just own it.
Yeah, that's kind of like been the hard thing, is because I went and I was going to do 9-toe forge, which right here I actually have like a little stamp that only has 4 toes on it because I ground off the little pinky toe. I put that leather, right? And I told Jason Knight, I think I'm going to do 9-toe forge, and he's pretty much like, you're stupid if you do that. Go with your name. So I've been, just using my name, but it's kind of hard to stamp Brigham Kindell on every knife, and so I've just had a hard time coming up with something,
I love Jason's honesty. I like his little reels he does where he's like, if you quench in a PVC pipe or a tube that's too small, you're an idiot.
Yep. That's him, man. He's like the realest guy ever, and that's what I love about him.
You need to just do your first name or your last name. Just one or the other. Just on your blade. That's it. Just your name.
Yeah.
If my last name wasn't Bloomberg, I would just use my last name. Like if I had like a cool name, like, I don't know, Knight. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Kindell's a pretty cool last name too. Like I would do that.
Thank you.
If it was me,
pronounces it wrong. That with my first name and all that kind of fun stuff. But
yeah, I get that too.
But I'll probably do that. I'm thinking about getting a hot stamp, and I'll probably just have Kindell in the hot stamp. But
yeah, there you go. I like that.
We'll see.
Yeah, like Noah Vachon is just Vachon with like some lines on the outside.
Again, somebody with a badass last name.
Vachon? That's a super common name around here, though.
Oh, is it really?
Really?
Oh, yeah. I know 4 or 5 Vachons. Yeah.
Oh.
Not including Noah. Just in my local area. There's Vachons all over New England.
So how was it meeting him the other day?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan, you went to the New England School of Metalwork. Let's hear a little. Hang on 1 second. Let's get an ad in here first for Maritime Knife Supply because you actually met him while you were there again. So let's throw that ad in there, and then let's hear all about your experience at the New England School of Metalwork.
Okay.
Hustle and Grind is sponsored by Maritime Knife Supply. Whether you're looking for steel, abrasives, handle material, forges, epoxy, or anything for making in general, Maritime Knife Supply has you covered. And in the U.S. or Canada, they ship faster than the great Cobra chicken goosesses that their country is known for. Go to Maritime Knife Supply, and when you buy a 10-pack of belts, get 10% off. And tell them we sent you, eh?
Eh?
Thanks, Luke.
Lawrence is awesome. I got to ride in his car.
Oh.
Whoa.
because we
Aren't
went
you
out to
lucky?
dinner. I was only there Saturday. It was a 3-day event, and I only went for one day. But yeah, it was
So tell us
awesome.
about it. So what classes did you take? Who else did you hang out with? What
I took the first class that I was in was with I can't remember the guy's name now. Chris Gibbs, I think was his name.
Okay.
But it was a Hamon class. He's the guy that does the crazy mountains or like waves and Hamons.
Oh, GC Knives?
Yeah, yes.
Greg Sims?
Sims, that's what it is. Greg, I don't know why I thought Gibbs.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh, that guy does phenomenal work. I love that guy's stuff.
so I took his Hamon class, and it was me, Lawrence, a bunch of guys I didn't know, and Josh Prince. And I got to meet the king, Josh Prince. His work is amazing. I got to hold one of his cleavers.
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, look at
Ooh,
this thing.
didn't you meet him at Blade Show?
I didn't. Noah met him.
Okay.
When I was at the Ameribraid booth on Friday, when he was there was about 1,000 people around the Ameribraid booth. So him and I like made eye contact over the
Oh, that's
crowd,
right.
or at least I
Yeah.
creepily thought we did. And then, but I didn't get to meet him. But then as soon as I walked into the class at the New England School of Metalwork, he was standing next to Lawrence. And I was like, holy shit, you're Josh Prince. He's like, yep. Nice to meet you. He's a super nice guy.
Super cool.
nice.
Super nice guy. And Noah is just as cool as I had imagined. He talked to me like we've known each other for years. And he's awesome. He actually gave me some advice yesterday on something. He's just like,
That's awesome.
it helps that he looks just like one of my best friends. Like I put that picture in a group chat me and all my brothers have, and they went, holy shit. They're like, it's good, Oren.
You gotta take 2 pictures side by side so we can see it.
Yeah, there we go. We need to see what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
Him and Oren.
yeah.
So what
Oren's
else
like
did you?
he's like evil Noah Vashon.
Got the
He's
dark
the
and the light side.
Wario.
Did you take any other classes there?
I took knife design with Salem Straub,
Oh man.
What
and
was that like?
I met Salem. It's pretty cool. It was more like theory.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like do this design. He was talking about all designs. It was like and why he does the things he does. Or the
So
way
was it
he does.
centered mostly around culinary knives or different?
Yeah.
Okay.
It went over like designing your chef knives around a center line and things like that, which are things that I had never heard of. So like
aesthetics and functionality and how they play together, that sort of thing, or
yeah. So like he drew a line on the board, and then he drew his knife where that line crosses the tip all the way down through the center of the handle to the end of the handle to the tang.
Well, that sounds super interesting. I'd love to take a class from him someday. I don't know how often he does them, but that would be phenomenal. I know some guys in my area that have taken classes from him because he's in sort of in my area up here in Washington. So, any other classes or just those 2?
I took a sheath making class for leather sheaths, and it was a guy from Maine. And that was pretty. I've been overthinking it, I think, for a long time.
Gotcha. So is that something you're going to try and get into now that you've taken that class?
I have everything.
I remember you saying that. So
I have leather. I've got thread. I got everything already.
Yeah.
So I think I've kind of got to. He made a sheath in front of us in like an hour.
Dang.
He's like boom, boom, sews it up by hand right in front of us. I'm like, you made that look so fucking easy, bro.
Well, the sewing part's like easy. That's what I like to do to calm down. I'll just sit in front of the TV and sew that leather together. It's not rocket engineering.
Well, thanks, Brigham.
Well, for me, it's the design, right? The
Mhm.
leather tooling. If you get into tooling, that's where I blow chunks. I'm not
Gotcha.
very good
Yeah.
at it.
Well,
And I would
I'm
like
actually
to be, but it's spending time.
I actually have a little bit of an announcement because I'm going to try to make a leather sheath. And the reason that I'm going to try to make a leather sheath is because I have this knife, which is the first integral knife that I have finished. And it's a Damascus integral. And it's just kind of like a camp knife, like hunter, but it just doesn't. It's one of those knives where you look at it and you're like, I don't see this in a Kydex sheath. And so I didn't want to do a Kydex sheath for it. So I have the leather, like Ryan. I have all the tools. I just never forced myself to do it. So I'm going to force myself to make a leather sheath for this. And the reason I'm going to is because I'm going to be donating this knife to do a fundraiser. And guys, I know there's a lot of fundraisers going on. I know that there's a lot of raffles or waffles or things going on, and I apologize. I know we're tired. I know everyone is tired. But the reason that I'm doing this is I've only done one raffle before, and I've participated in other fundraisers and stuff, but I've never actually run one before. I'm doing a raffle because one of my best buddies in the world has cancer. Um, I don't think I can stress to you guys how much this individual means to me. This is one of my best friends that I've ever had in my life. It's my hunting buddy. It's one of the people that you have in your life that would do anything for you. He and I have had near death experiences together, and we've come out of them on top. So to just randomly hear one day that he had cancer was a bit of a shock to me. And so it's been a little bit of a process. He just had surgery the other day. I took him to the hospital. I went and I picked him up from the hospital. It's been a little bit of a trip for me to have somebody that close to me go through this. We're pretty sure he's going to be okay. So there was 2 sections that he had to have cut out. He's got a long road to recovery. He's completely out of work for the period of time that he's going to be healing, and he still has to do radiation and something else. I can't remember. It's not chemo, but it's something else. Anybody that's dealt with this knows what I'm talking about. It's a process. It takes a long time, and it costs a ton of money. The dude's going to be in a massive hole. So I want to raise some money to try and help him out. I am going to be putting up this Damascus integral knife. I'm going to make a leather sheath for it, the first leather sheath I've ever made. So hopefully it won't be complete dog shit, but you never know. So when this airs, I will have a post up on my Instagram with pictures of the knife. I'll throw up a picture of me and my buddy, so you guys know where to go. I want to try and do it on PayPal friends and family so that there's no fees that get taken out. So everything that I raise can go straight to him. But I'm also going to put a donation item on my website. There'll just be a small fee taken out automatically on my website because that's just the way that works. Anybody who's done that knows how that works. But anyways, I'll make a post. You can go see the post on my Instagram. I'll pin it if I can, and it'll be shared to my stories, all that jazz. If you can, it's going to be $10 a spot, unlimited spots. I'm going to run it until I can't remember the date, but early August. So not very long, but I want to run it long enough to where anybody who can help out, I would appreciate it. So anyways, and you get a chance to win my first Damascus integral knife that has some badass black spalted maple on the handle, from Flying Shark Knives. So anyways, I've talked long enough. Let's just go ahead and leave it at that. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm just trying to help out a buddy who's going through a really, really tough time.
That's awesome of you. Yeah, that's awesome. One of my best friends actually died of cancer at like 34, and sucks, sorry, but anything you can do to help those people, those are the people who need help,
Yes.
So
yeah, I mean, we've all been through tough times, and it's always the people that don't. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got different viewpoints on life and everything, but the people who really deserve to have a little bit of an easier time, those are the kinds of people that usually have it the worst. And it sucks to see people who have your back all the time go through really tough stuff like that.
For sure. Everybody in my family dies of cancer.
Damn.
I pretty much like come to terms with the fact that's probably how I'm gonna go. Like everybody in
Jeez.
my family dies from cancer.
Well,
I don't think I've ever met somebody who hasn't been affected by cancer
it's
in
freaking
one way
everywhere,
or
man.
another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it all boils down to our environment, right? And we're just going to see more and more. We're glued to our cell phones and stuff that emit radiation and foods that have all sorts of crazy chemicals in them. And, I don't know. But then again, we all die more of driving around than anything else. So,
Yeah.
you just got to live your life and move forward and be the best human being you can be.
Our food's
That's
a
all I
big
strive
problem.
to do. Oh yeah, super big problem.
Yeah.
But yet I'm still drinking sodas, and who knows what the
I
sucralose
know.
laden crap is, and
I'm
yep,
I'm crushing a sody right now.
yep. See,
Did
I
you
got
know
my
that?
my zero right there.
Yeah. Did you know humans didn't have crooked teeth until like 400 years ago?
I read that, or not read that. I watched that on a video about how their jaw bones were so much, or their jaw muscles were so much stronger, which something something. I don't know. That's kind of
Because
interesting.
we used to be
when you think about
carnivores.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have to eat things that weren't made in a factory.
That were
Never used to have to have our wisdom teeth removed because our jaws were big enough to accommodate the wisdom teeth, and that's why they were there for extra crushing power to crush bones and all the.
I had mine out.
I think
All,
everybody's had them out, man.
all four of them in one swoop.
Same
That was
here.
fun.
Me too.
Yeah, that's the way to
Good
do it.
stuff.
They just
Get it
put
over
you to
with.
sleep. Yeah, you wake up, they're gone. It's a
You
couple.
feel
It's
good.
it's like a week of shitty healing, but
Using a
I didn't
squirt
have
bottle
any.
to get all the food
Yeah,
out of the holes in your mouth.
I didn't have any of that like additional pain afterwards. Some people say it's fucking excruciating for like weeks, but I healed right up and no issues. I've had a lot of dental surgeries.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You got to show them that. Do it again. No, look.
I've seen it.
Oh, you have? I've never seen
Yeah.
that. That's awesome. How'd you
It's
lose
like the
those?
first time I saw your toes.
I lost I lost both sets actually in the same way. So my baby teeth, I don't know how old I was. Probably I had to have been like 3 or 4, and I was riding on the pegs of some other neighborhood kid's bike, and I fell off the bike and I knocked out my 2 front teeth, my baby teeth. My adult teeth grew in, and it was around like the Olympics time. I was 5 or 6, and I had one hand on the counter and one hand on the back of the chair, and I was swinging my legs. And I was like, "Mom, look, I'm in the Olympics!" And I swung my legs like way out, and the chair fell, and I fucking ate the floor. Smash! Yeah, broke them
That's
both
so
off at the
brutal.
gum line. Yeah, yeah, it was a whole ordeal for like a lot of years, and then
Oh,
they
man.
couldn't save the teeth, and I was like 14, 15 years old, and they were like, "Boop, pull them."
Jeez.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. I haven't bit into an apple in 23 years.
Because you like physically can't with that, or
Yeah, that's just a plastic prosthetic. This is actually the one from when I was 14 because I broke my other one. I was eating a piece of stale pizza out here like a couple months back, and the tooth just goes poop and pops off. And I super glued it back on a few times, but that gets old real quick.
Well, I tell you what, when you pull that shelf out of there, you look pretty much like the picturesque picture of a Florida man. And with that in mind, do you guys want to play some fake news?
No
oh, that's
tooth. See,
awesome.
my toothy came off. Yeah. And all the rest of my teeth that are missing are all on the top, and it's all from grinding my teeth in my sleep.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm
I've
ready
like
for
woke
some.
up. Yeah, let's bring on the Florida. Enough of this dentistry talk.
Hey, I mean, if people want to listen to us talk about our crappy teeth, I mean, I'm all for it. Brigham, you want to play some fake news?
Heck yeah.
You want to play a little bit of fake news here? All right, guys. Well, for any new listeners out there, we play a game called Fake News. I have 3 stories in front of me. You lovely listeners at home, Ryan and Brigham, are going to have to guess which one of these 3 is fake. Facade, satire, fake news entirely. The other 2, unfortunately, for the future of mankind, are real. They actually happened. And here we go. We start off with cocaine sharks may be feasting on drugs dumped off the coast of Florida, including ketamine, methamphetamines, and cocaine. Next up, Florida man accused of using Kool-Aid packets to steal $994 worth of merchandise. And lastly, Florida man, nicknamed the Gator Guardian, turns front lawn into thriving alligator sanctuary.
Last one's totally believable.
Out of these 3, which one do you guys believe is the fake news?
I kind of believe them all. Okay, Ryan. Would Noah throw us like a swerve and give us all not fake news?
No, I would not do that.
Oh, dang it.
No, he does not violate the rules of the game.
Does not violate the rules of the game.
So,
okay.
On like if we were playing Florida Man or Fraud, I've been known to throw all Florida in there, and I've also been known to put no Florida whatsoever. But this is a different game. This is fake news. There has to be one fake story in here, and one of them is indeed fake.
Okay, so the first one is packets of that wasn't the first one, but the first one's drug sharks.
Yeah, we got cocaine sharks, Florida man using Kool-Aid packets to steal merchandise, or the Gator Guardian turning his front lawn into a thriving alligator sanctuary.
I don't understand how you can steal merchandise with Kool-Aid packets.
You could steal diamonds or something small in Kool-Aid packets.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just stick it in your pocket? Then you got to take out a Kool-Aid packet and drop it in the Kool-Aid packet and then put it in your pocket instead of just putting whatever you're stealing in your pocket.
See, this is difficult because I want to interject on all these things you guys are saying about the different stories, but I got to keep my mouth shut because anything that I say can and will be used against me.
Because like with the shark one, I could see how a news organization would be super worried about that. You know, sharks running around all high and stuff.
Dude,
it's very like
you thought Cocaine Bear was bad. Wait till you see Cocaine Shark.
Yeah, meth shark.
Meth shark.
That'd
probably be worse.
The Methlodon.
The Methlodon. The great white stands for the white powder, not the color of the shark.
Right.
That makes me think of War Crown. Jason Statham is using his knives in Expendables 4.
I saw that.
Was so badass, dude.
Congratulations to Justin. That's pretty stinking awesome, man.
Yeah, good on you, man. That's fucking amazing.
That's badass. Yeah, we met that guy at Blade, Ryan. And he seemed like a really cool dude, and he does some phenomenal work. I'm always seeing his reels pop up. He's killing the social media game. He's always got some really great reels, and he cranks out like it seems like a ton of knives, and his stuff is always really interesting and unique.
Yep.
Should I share the secret about Instagram I found?
You should, but after we're done playing this game.
Yeah, we're in the game.
Yeah, I forgot we're in a game.
I spoiled us. I'm sorry. I'm going Kool-Aid is fake.
What happens when you bring 3 ADHDers on a podcast?
Yeah.
Everybody knows I will go off on tangents for hours. What were we talking about? Like, you know what I mean?
Cocaine sharks, Kool-Aid packets, or the Gator Guardian?
I agree with Brigham. It is the Kool-Aid packets.
Final answer, both of you?
Final answer.
Yeah.
Meh.
Oh, it's the Gator Guardian, isn't it?
The fake story is the Gator Guardian.
Oh, dang it. I knew it.
First off, let me give some credit here. Zachary Sowell from Paternostri Fabrica sent us in the Gator Guardian. I believe he wrote this one himself. He had a whole article that he had written. But here's the thing about fake news: is the fake
No
news ones, I don't
way.
read the whole article because it's just too much information to like. You'd catch on to the fake ones really easily. So I only read just the headlines for the fake news. So shout out to him. I really appreciate the effort that he took to doing that one. And the brilliant thing
Zach.
is that it was extremely believable because it's Florida. The Kool-Aid packets was sent in by Brian Hunt of Hidden Rose Forge. Thank you, sir. And Cocaine Sharks was actually sent in to me a couple people, but the first person was David Burke of OLC Knives. So thank you, all of you lovely people, for seeing Cocaine Sharks and then immediately thinking of me. That's fantastic. I love that.
And
So
Brian Hunt did the CAD files for me on my new EDCs. So
I need
thank
to
you
reach
for
out.
that.
I need to
He's
reach
such
out
a
to
good
him
guy.
because I want to do that as well. So I need to talk to him. My brain has been a freaking basket case lately, full of 8 million things. So I haven't been able to like keep any thoughts straight. So I need to do that. So thank you for reminding me. But yeah,
Brian helped me heat treat this guy, this Damas
nice.
steel.
That's
Yeah.
badass, dude. So I just wanted to let you guys know how you steal stuff using Kool-Aid packets because you were confused by that. He was using the self-checkout and he had a Kool-Aid packet cupped in his palm. So while he was scanning items, he was just pretending to scan them and then scanning the Kool-Aid packets instead. So all the expensive items were just going right in the shopping bag, and then only the Kool-Aid packets were what was being scanned.
Oh, see, I'm not sympathetic to the store though because I fucking hate self checkout, and I think we should get an employee discount checking ourselves out. I feel like anything they lose through a self checkout, that's on you for being cheap and fucking taking away jobs. Sons of bitches. And then they check your receipt at the door to make sure you ain't a thief.
So is that how he
I hate
got caught?
And I don't. You think I read the whole thing and like I can't. I don't have time for that.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good point. Maybe that is how he
I'm
got
sure
caught.
that either that or they have a camera on every single one of those. So who knows? Maybe it just he got caught that way. I don't know.
I heard they were
But
using like AI to check things too. Like it'll scan their cart. I don't know. Lots of
geez,
theories. Lots of
going all
theories.
out. Don't
Buy
steal
local.
stuff, kids. Buy local and don't steal stuff.
Buy local. Fuck Walmart. Dude, I hate Walmart. Oh, dude. Maybe once a year I'll go. My wife will get me to go. I can't do it. Like
So I just
going
want
to Walmart makes me wish for an asteroid impact.
I'm telling you, Maynard had it right.
You did.
So quick shout out. The guys that sent in, or the guy that sent in the Cocaine Shark once, David Burke from OLC Knives. He actually came up to my shop yesterday, and we made some kydex because he hasn't done kydex before, and he had a customer that really wanted a sheath for one of his knives, and so it's like one of those things where you want to start something, but you don't know what you need until you kind of get into it. So it was really cool. He came up and he brought me some homemade pickles and some homemade beef jerky, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, we made some sheaths and we played around with the laser a little bit. And so shout out to him; he's a great dude.
That's
And
quite cool.
yeah, so it was really cool to have a fellow maker working with me. You know, I've never done that before, and so we were
And
making some kydex and
OLC stands for one-legged coot, I think, right?
yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So we lasered his one-legged coot design onto some kydex to play around with that. He's gonna
Does he only have one leg?
he was walking on two, but I don't know. It was maybe one of them's fake. David, if you're listening to this, I need to know if you have a fake leg because he's wearing long pants and boots, so I have no idea.
Right. The prosthetics now are pretty impressive. So
That could be. I didn't even think of that.
that'd be cool.
I should have.
If you
I
could get
should
a
have.
robot leg.
Dude, that'd be badass. I just call myself Terminator at that point. You guys have to
What did I
call me
want to? What did I
Terminator.
want to talk about? Speaking of ADHD,
Not a clue, man.
we're gonna listen back to this. And be like, oh yeah, that's what he wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's right. Let's go ahead and shout out our abrasive sponsor real quick.
Sure.
Since
I know
we're-
what I want to talk about.
Sweet.
I dropped an EDC this week.
Ooh, that's right.
Hustle and Grind podcast is sponsored by Phoenix Abrasives, your one-stop abrasive shop. When you go to phoenixabrasives.com, click the shop icon in the upper right-hand corner to find all the abrasives you'll ever need. Check out the Incinerator 36 grit ceramic belts, along with the Trizact Gator belts that the hosts of Hustle and Grind use every day. When you check out, use code HUSTLE10 for 10% off your entire order.
Yes. Every day.
Every day.
I always word like the ad reads, and I think they're great. He did a great job. His episode was really good too, by the way.
Yeah, we love Luke.
Yeah, he's a character. So I dropped an EDC this week. 2 of them, actually, but they're basically the same knife, just different blade lengths. What did you guys think of them? Did you like them? Tell me the truth. I have broad shoulders. I can take it.
Brigham, you go ahead and go first. What did you think of his EDC?
I liked them. You sent them to me the day before. I think you really, or not the day before you released them, but you were saying you were going to release them. I think they look great, and I mean, as long as it cuts, I think it's going to do well. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, they look great. I'm gonna have to go look at them again though.
I'll have
while we're on here.
I got the handle material in yesterday, so
what are you gonna do for the handle material?
Brown or black canvas micarta.
Nice.
I wanted to keep the option simple. You know what I mean? Because like,
Oh, you have to.
right, like an EDC, if you're any handle you want, you might as well just be doing customs.
Yep,
And
absolutely. Unless you're freaking bald man, and then you can just like make everything perfect and the exact same and do like all different types of handle materials. That guy's nuts. I love his stuff.
Yeah. The thicker clippers.
But even he will tell you, he'll tell you people don't know what they want. And so the simpler you keep it, the easier it is. Like he was one of the first people to say that on this podcast.
Yeah, and he's 100% correct. People don't like options.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, they're like me. I already said I'm indecisive as all crap. I'll get out. You give me too many options, and my brain's gonna fizzle.
I know everybody and their brother is dropping EDCs right now, and that's kind of why I dropped it, because I've been brainstorming this for months, like a couple months before Blade Show, and I had like 3 different iterations that I never posted because I wasn't, and they ended up. I'm not making those ones. You make a couple, you're like, I don't like grinding these, or you make them and you're like, repeatability's not there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So these were the ones that I went with, and I don't usually name my knives, but I thought the name was fitting. It's the Signet, which is a baby swan, in case anybody didn't know.
I did not know that. I was wondering why you went with that. I always thought it was like the ring thing, like when you do your stamp,
Nope.
Spelled differently.
Yeah, it's with a C. A Signet's a baby swan, and so the 3.5-inch blade is the regular one, and the 2.5-inch blade is the runt.
Runt with a T on the end?
Yeah, runt. Like runt of the litter.
Gotcha, yeah. So in case the listeners are thinking that... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, I really like the swoop back to it, like kind of like drop point-ish without really having a clip, because everybody's doing a clip. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, I just like how you're doing like a more traditional vibe with it.
Yeah, it's going to be rounded spine, single, it's simple, but that's how I'm able to keep the price point low too. And people are probably going to be mad at me, but that's okay.
So what I was going to say is, in case the listeners were thinking that I sidestepped Ryan's question about my opinion on them, because I have any untoward thoughts about it, I just want to go ahead and let you know that that's not the case. I already gave Ryan my opinion on the knives, and I was very complimentary, because I think that Ryan did something with his EDC that some people fail to do, which is he brought a level of elegance to a simple EDC that I think makes his unique. And I'm not bad mouthing anyone else's. I mean, mine are very simple and utilitarian. My Shotgunner V2s, like, they're not particularly elegant. Like they're just made to shotgun beers and cut stuff, open boxes, but I think Ryan's are really unique in the fact that they have an element of elegance to them. And I think that you can definitely, when you look at it, you can see that the influence of a swan is there between the handle shape and just the elegant swoop that the knife blade itself has. So you can definitely tell that he put a lot of design thought and everything into them. So when they do drop, I would recommend that you buy one of my V2s first, and then you can go and buy one of Ryan's.
Oh, they're
UV2s
dropped.
as well.
I'm taking pre-orders right now.
Okay, well,
So
you should still buy one of mine first, but I'm joking. I'm joking. Go buy one of
so
Ryan's EDCs. They're badass. I really like them.
I have your Shotgunner V2, and I love it. I carry it all the time. So
that's awesome. Thank you,
and
man.
it's
I appreciate that.
it's I like how it's thick. I feel like I can actually use it without destroying it, if you know what I mean. So it's awesome. Now
And
Ryan has something on his knife that I want to discuss, and because it came up when I was talking to, I'm just going to throw his name out there, James Rodabaugh, who's a master smith, and he's in charge of teaching at the American Bladesmith Society. So I got to meet him up at the Stone Mountain Forge when they had their hammer in. Really awesome guy. I just totally dig this guy. He's super cool. But he was talking about this section right here, and that's where your I guess you can call it your choil, or where your grinds
your
come
finger
in,
choil,
your plunge line. And he was saying this little section right here that sticks out away from the cutting surface. And he was actually looking at somebody else's knife that had that, and he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, he's just like, "Oh, I just like the way it looked." And I'm like, "Well, I like it because it doesn't let your finger ride up and get into the knife, right? It kind of, to me, is a protection point." And he said, "Well, that's what guards are for, or like actual finger choils, like swoops in there." And he says he hates those because they impede cutting and sharpening.
Do you want me to tell you why I put it on there?
Yeah, I want to know why.
Because I use Kydex, and that gives you a grab point for your Kydex. Instead of it hugging the blade and scratching your blade every time you pull it out, you can add a few layers of tape to your blade to make a barrier, and then use that as the lock point on the Kydex. If I were going to do that knife in a leather sheath or without a sheath, I would delete that part and just have a sharpening choil. It has a sharpening choil too. So I added the sharpening choil in front of it, but that's the only reason I add those on any knife, is if it's going to get Kydex, so it has a point to grab. Because also, if you're like these are bolt-on handles, so I don't want that pressure on the scales. You know what I mean? Or if you're using like a softer, delicate wood, if you have your Kydex grab your wood, it can chip when you push it in. Does that make sense? That's just my 2 cents. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Me too. That's why I'm kind of asking, because I was thinking about it, and it like totally makes sense, like what he's saying, because like even though my sharpening point is up higher, right, it's still gonna have issues, and even grinding it, I can see where I'm a little thicker down towards that area because it's just not getting to it, and that's what kind of causes that. Your initial plunge to kind of swoop in, and there's like that little thick spot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that I do it, because I do the same thing. I leave it, if I'm doing a stock removal knife, I don't do it on culinary knives because I think that that's impeding your cutting surface in a culinary knife. But for an EDC or a hunting blade, I do it on every single knife, and I do a sharpening choil in between where you've got the full thickness and the cutting edge, so that way you've got a gap of a space, so you know exactly where your sharpening ends, so you're not running into that. The reason that I do it is because I like to have a full thickness choil where your first finger is going to be riding up against that handle, and then I round that area off so it's nice and comfortable. If that was a full bevel, you're going to have a slightly sharper area down below, even if you round it off. For heavy use, I want that to be full thickness, and I like keeping my finger further away from the cutting edge, because I've had people tell me on some of my earlier blades that if you've got that bevel, that your bevels go all the way back to your heel, that can be an issue with hitting your fingers on it. And I've had people tell me that. So that's why I do it. I want to go run through one more thing really quick, and then I think we need to switch over to an after show.
Before you do that,
if you're done, go ahead.
So the EDCs, they're ADC every two. They're all stonewash, bolt-on handles. It's $150 if you buy one of them or two of them. It's $125 if you get three or more, and that's for either style. So hit me up on Instagram. They're not on my website
price
yet.
Too. That's a great price.
Thanks, Brigham.
It's an excellent price point. We're actually a little short on time today, so I'm going to go ahead and skip what I was going to go over. One of the episodes we did previously was we were talking about why we do what we do, and I got some really great responses from people. I really want to read through them, though, so I'm actually going to save that for next week or a later episode. Shout out to all the people who messaged me. I will go over it, but we're going to skip it today. Lastly, before we leave, I just want to hear from everybody, you three, what I don't know if I'm going to make this like a normal thing. What's your favorite song this week? What have you been listening to in the shop? What's getting you going when you need to work and get jamming?
Hold on. Let me grab my phone. Oh no!
So I got a quick answer for you.
Let's hear.
My answer is I've been listening to podcasts while I was working today, and I was listening to The Art of Craftsmanship, which Ryan was on, which was kind of fun.
I was.
And then he was also on, or they also had Chad Kimmel from C and I forget what's his C and Summit and C Smithing and Dennis Tyrell, and they were talking about their Project 22.
Yes. Quick shout out. So there's another fundraiser going on that's really important right now. Brigham, you said before we started the show, you had some details on this.
And it was because I was listening to that podcast. But basically, our friend Bob Rankin, unfortunately, his son, who was a Navy veteran, committed suicide. And, 22 veterans commit suicide. I don't know on how much of a basis this is. I hope it's not a daily basis. That'd be tragic. Well, anyways, any of it's tragic. But this foundation, goes to help prevent that. And basically what's happened is Chad had some steel from 9/11 that he worked into a blade that has 22 layers. He and 50/50 Forge created the steel, and then I think at some point it got sent to Dennis Tyrell, who also worked on it and had some cable from, I think, one of the ships that his son is serving on, something to that effect. But anyways, this knife is out for auction, and you can look up one of them for details, and it's all going to go to help Bob, and then to help cover funeral costs and stuff like that, because when you have somebody so young and so unexpected, most of the time they don't have all the insurances that an older individual has. And so it's going to go help him, and anything that's extra, he's going to donate to something else, I believe, or, back to the organization. So good cause, good guy raffle. This is what we like to call them. So make sure you go to Bob Rankin's website, where they have a sticker that you can purchase, which will enter you into the raffle.
And it's a really cool sticker that they had a local tattoo artist design. So it's a really cool sticker that you want to have anyways. And it is 22 a day. So there every day in the United States, there's a veteran 22 a day that commits suicide. So it's something that we don't talk about enough as a society. And this is just one of the very few ways that you can give back and try and show some love and appreciation. And once again, it just hits close to home because it's one of our own. It's one of the people in our community. So you can go check out pictures of the knives on Dennis Tyrell's Instagram, and then, like like Brigham said, if you go to Bob Rankin's website, that's where you can purchase a sticker, which is a donation to contribute to that. So if you guys are able to do that, please do.
Oh, but then my song is "Hurt" by Nine Inch Nails. That
Wow.
one was in my that one was in my head today for some reason. So I didn't listen to it, but I was singing it. So
Damn, going way back. Ryan, what you got?
Oh man, I don't know. See, I don't listen to hard stuff like you guys do.
That's okay. We got listeners that listen to every different type of music. So throw out what you've been listening to. What have you been jamming? What have you been working in your workshop listening to? What's been getting you going this week?
So I use YouTube Music,
Okay.
and there's like a liked list. So anytime I like a song, I hit like, and it adds it to the top of my playlist.
Mhm.
So there's Teddy Swims, who he was the music on my last reel I just posted. Connor Price, who makes that song Spinning, you know what I mean? He's like, he does those funny videos on Instagram where he like raps in his studio. Atlas is a really good artist. Chris Webby, Jelly Roll, Zach Bryan, Chris Webby, more Chris Webby, Snack the Ripper, Mercules. Yeah, I listen to some weird shit.
what's yours, Noah?
Wide variety. All right, so I've got the one that I've been jamming to quite a lot is the song "Abandon Us" by Barry Tomorrow, and that's definitely like a metalcore song. But the reason I love it is because it has a chorus that is a straight up disco beat. So it's a very heavy metal song, but it's got this really like catchy chorus that has like this. I mean, it's not a disco song, but the beat itself, like the drum beat, is disco with like random like double bass thrown in there, and it's super cool. And the song that has been absolutely getting me fired up is a cover of "Every Time We Touch" by the band Electric Callboy. And if any of the listeners out there know who Electric Callboy is, it is a party metal band. So it's metalcore mixed with electronic music, and their songs are hilarious and fun. And they do a cover of "Every Time We Touch" that is freaking amazing. It's going to be the best song you've ever listened to. I can just guarantee that right now. So whether you like metal music or not, you need to go listen to "Every Time We Touch" by Electric Callboy, and you will thank me. And with that, we are out of time. Brigham, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the listeners before we check out?
Happy birthday to Timber Tiger Forge and to Steve Swarzer. So Chris Magnus, happy birthday. Steve Swarzer, happy birthday. So today's
And I'm
July
just
23rd.
and I'm just chop liver to you. Thanks a lot.
Noah's
Is it your
birthday was
birthday?
yesterday.
I told Noah, happy birthday, Noah. I love you. You know it.
I know it. I'm just messing with you.
You got a personal video.
Thank you so much for reminding me. Quick shout out to my wife, who is the most amazing woman in the world, who reached out to a bunch of you different guys, and you all responded with a video to say happy birthday to me. I'm so glad that Brigham reminded me of that. I love every one of you guys, and the fact that I got a personalized happy birthday message from so many people in the community was an incredible thing. I've never gotten anything like that before in my life. That was amazing, and I love all of you guys so much. So thank you very much. I didn't like post it about it or anything. I was just kind of shocked. I didn't know how to respond.
Did you cry?
So a little bit, yeah. There was no, because
awesome.
Men don't cry. We just have one lone man tear that goes down our cheek. So I allowed that to happen, and that was as far as it went.
Well, you've already observed me cry today, so
when I cry, it's a mess. I'm a fucking blubbering idiot.
Just ugly cry.
Yeah. I'm one of them hold it all inside kind of people. So then once the cork pops, I'm like, fucking. It's embarrassing.
I am just like that. Anyways, but no, happy birthday to them.
We're about to do a first in the Hustle and Grind history. We're going to have a different guest on the after show.
I like it. So so Brigham's got a heart out. So we got to end this show basically right now so that Brigham can get done what he's got to get done today. And then those of you that are lucky enough to have spent $1 a month to go on patreon.com and support us for that low sum of money, you will get to listen to the after show with a surprise guest. The person who comes on afterwards will shock you. I'm stealing somebody else's line there, but that's
it
fine.
will be worth it to learn.
It will be worth it. No one will be disappointed in this. So thank you all for listening.
I don't get to do it. Just kidding. Sorry. I'll shut up now. Bye, guys.
Play us out, Ryan.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody have a good week. Thank you for listening. And last of all,
That was nasty.